Hello, interdisciplinary cooperative education students. Today is Friday. It is the 28th of August, and today we are going to do the Medicaid waiver, transition to work through the Medicaid waiver. Traditionally, the Medicaid waiver provides, there's a couple different waivers, but the Medicaid waiver, the Family Support Services waiver, has a component piece that can help you with employment. So I didn't want to overlook this part as I feel like it's important. It offers a lot of support services if you are eligible. Oftentimes you get put on a waiting list, but if you are found eligible to receive services, there is a part for employment services. We're going to just watch a little video here regarding the Medicaid waiver. Now, again, this is the entire waiver and the other waivers, but I still wanted you to know about it. Here we go.
Medicaid waivers are what Indiana calls its home and community-based services, and they allow an individual with a disability to access services to live as independently as possible in their own communities. In order to receive a waiver, an individual must be eligible for an appropriate Medicaid health plan category. In Indiana, we have two different types of waivers. We have waivers through the Division of Aging, which include the Aged and Disabled, or A&D waiver, and the Traumatic Brain Injury, or TBI waiver. We also have waivers through the Bureau of Developmental Disability Services. People call that the BEADS office for short. So if you've ever heard somebody say the BEADS office and you weren't sure what they were talking about, that's the Bureau of Developmental Disability Services. And they also have two types of waivers. They have the Family Supports Waiver and the Community Integration and Habilitation, or CIH waiver. With the Division of Aging waivers, those waivers are designed to help people with significant disabilities stay in their homes and not go into a nursing facility. But in order to get the Aged and Disabled waiver, an individual must meet nursing facility level of care. If an individual has a traumatic brain injury, they may be able to get the TBI waiver, and in order to get that, they must meet either nursing facility level of care or ICF-IDD level of care, and they must have a diagnosed traumatic brain injury. To apply for one of those waivers, you must call your local area agency on aging, or you can call the State Division of Aging at 1-800-986-3505. Waivers through the Bureau of Developmental Disability Services are different. Those waivers are designed to help people with developmental disabilities get out and be as active in the community as possible. And they provide supports for individuals who have intellectual or developmental disabilities, including autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, and many more. In order to qualify for a waiver through the BEADS office, you must have a diagnosed intellectual or developmental disability or related condition prior to age 22. Also, the condition must be expected to continue indefinitely, and you must meet Medicaid eligibility in a waiver-compatible category. And specifically, if an individual is over 18 years of age, they must be determined disabled by the Social Security Administration in order to qualify for a Medicaid eligible category. However, family income and family assets are not counted when determining Medicaid financial eligibility. Many times, families think that they're ineligible for a Medicaid waiver because they make too much money, so it's important to note that family income and family assets are not counted. Even though family income and family assets aren't considered, the individual's income and the individual's assets are considered. So if an individual has more than $2,000 in assets, families should consider establishing a special needs trust, such as the ArcMaster Trust, or an ABLE account to maintain eligibility. In order to qualify for a waiver through BEADS, you have to also meet a certain level of care. A diagnosis alone isn't enough. In order to meet the appropriate level of care to receive a waiver, an individual must have substantial functional limitations in at least 3 of the following 6 categories: mobility, use and understanding of language, self-care, learning, capacity for independent living, and self-direction. The family support waiver is often the first waiver individuals start with. Now, it has a capped annual budget for services, and in 2019, the maximum budget for waiver services is $17,300 per year. The state does have a waiting list for this particular waiver, and you can check that waiting list by going to the BEAD's website. If you are checking the waitlist portal, you'll put in some basic information, and if you're on the waiting list, your information will come up along with a listed application date. If you don't see that application date on there, contact your local Bureau of Developmental Disabilities office to see if everything is okay. But what's also nice is through that waitlist portal, you also have the ability to update information like your address and your phone number so that the state is always able to contact you when they need to. The state does have priority status for 18 to 24-year-olds who have finished school, as well as for the dependents of active duty military members and veterans. If you fall in either of those categories, you can request priority status and jump to the front of the line. BEADS also has a waiver called the Community Integration and Habilitation Waiver. This is now an emergency-based waiver. In order to qualify for this waiver, you must actually qualify for a BEADS waiver in general and meet one of the priority categories. Death of the primary caregiver with no other caregiver available, living with a primary caregiver age 80 or older with no younger caregiver available, aging out of a residential placement for children through the Department of Child Services or the Indiana Department of Education, extraordinary health and safety risk, moving from an institutional setting, including a nursing facility or group home, when it is determined that the individual no longer needs or receives active treatment in the group home, or when the individual chooses to leave an institutional setting, and evidence of abuse, neglect, or exploitation. One of the differences between the Family Support Waiver and the CIH waiver is that with the CIH waiver, the budget for services is determined based on an individual's needs, age, health conditions, and living situation. Believe it or not, there are about 30 different services available under the BEADS waivers. Some of those services include things like case management, respite, extended employment services, behavior management, music therapy, recreational therapy, community habilitation, adult day services, and much more. So to apply for a waiver, you can contact your local BEADS office, or you can call us at the ARC at 317-977-2375, and a family advocate will happily talk to you about waivers and walk you through that application process. For more information,
So we watched that video over the Medicaid waiver. The Medicaid website is here, and it has information on the Aged and Disability Waiver, Community Integration and Habilitation Waiver, the Family Support Waiver, Traumatic Brain Injury Waiver, the ones that we heard about on the video. The PRTF transition waiver, that's a different waiver they did not talk about. Here's our slide, the Medicaid waiver. They can provide services including employment services, so they can provide management, respite, extended employment services, behavior management, recreation therapy, communication, habilitation, adult day services. So to check your status of your waiver, oops, that's how to apply for it. I'm gonna close these boxes out. To check your status of the waiver, that is here. You can do it by phone, well, in person. You can apply in person, apply by phone, and check the status. You can call, you can either click on this online link or call this number to check out the status. As mentioned, there are some different day programs. What I said is if you have eligibility to receive a waiver, then part of the services are adult day services and employment. And some of those adult day services, like going to an adult day program, provide vocational training. And there's different ones that I've listed here. The Altruist group, there's a program called the Links program, and that's through, paid through for your Medicaid waiver. That is a job training program. They don't have much information on there now, but here is the homepage, and you can always contact them and reach out and ask them what the links program is, or you can ask me because it's a newer program that they're trying to promote. It's over off of Graham Road and 71st Street. The next one is Easter Seals Crossroads. That is, they do have a employment services, and there's a video and stuff you can look up. They find job opportunities and training for individuals with disabilities. New Hope, they provide those services. Noble, they provide services, employment services, from pre-vocational training to placement and on-the-job support. Noble works to help achieve your career, so you can click the link, Learn More button. Outside the Box is another one that provides employment to training to individuals with disabilities. And it looks like this is all their Corona stuff. So maybe click on employment, employment services here. And there's some information about that. So through the waiver, you can also get employment services to help you get a job if you go that route. So that is the last of our discussion regarding adult services providing support when you transition from high school to work. These are some resources that you could use for finding employment or getting vocational training. I will include some questions on the quiz, and then once you answer that, you will be done with the work this week for interdisciplinary cooperative education. Next week, we're going to look at a little bit more about accessing the community through transportation modes. So if you have any questions, give me a call, shoot me an email, and have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.